behalf of the Republic of Serbia, I announce that today we arrested Ratko Mladic. Extradition process is underway. This is the result of full cooperation of Serbia with the Hague Tribunal. We have always believed in our strategy and the work of everyone involved in this process. Today we closed one chapter of our recent history that will bring us one step closer to full reconciliation in the region. I believe that every other country must be responsible for closing their own chapters. All crimes have to be fully investigated and all war criminals must face justice. I call for independent investigation with a mandate from UN Security Council on the serious allegations on organ trafficking in Kosovo, autonomy Kosovo, from Dick Marty's report. Thank you for your attention.
Because there was no political will in Serbia to do it. Serbia has been encouraged to do it. There's a change of government for the last 3 years, but equally Serbia has been told, unless you yield up the war criminals that have been indicted by the War Crimes Tribunal in The Hague, there is no chance of you becoming a member of the European Union. Serbia wants to be a member of the European Union, so Serbia said, right, in that case we'll have to actually dine with a long spoon and find Mladic. They've known where he's been for a long time, and actually, eventually, they've got round to doing it.
On the run for the past 15 years, Ratko Mladic was the last remaining high-profile fugitive from the Bosnian War, a war hero to his defenders, to others, the architect of some of the worst carnage in Europe in decades. There have been many unconfirmed sightings of him, but he'd evaded all attempts to capture him, until today. During the Bosnian War, Ratko Mladic oversaw the 3.5-year siege of Sarajevo and the shelling of its civilian population. He's also been indicted by the UN War Crimes Tribunal over the slaughter of thousands of Muslim civilians in the enclave of Srebrenica. In front of UN peacekeepers, Mladic had promised the people of Srebrenica their sons and husbands would be safe, a promise notoriously unfulfilled.
I never met him, I saw him at a distance, but I saw the result of his soldiers' work. I mean, he was a disgusting war criminal. He's a first-class war criminal. It's taken a hell of a long time to get him, and I'm delighted that at last The Hague has got hold of him. It will get hold of him. I suspect he'll move to The Hague pretty quickly.
The arrest of Mladic has been one of the conditions for Serbia's eventual membership of the European Union.
This is great news. I was exactly 1 week ago in Belgrade. I had an extensive, very deep, sincere conversation with President Tadic, and he promised me that we'll do everything to arrest Mladic. So if this is the case, it means that he's keeping his word, so that we should trust Serbia's determination also to come closer to the European Union.
Only earlier today, the UN Yugoslavia Tribunal had criticised Serbia for not doing enough to arrest Ratko Mladic. Within hours came this new turning point in the tortured history of the region. Mike Wooldridge, BBC.
We can talk now to Martin Bell, who, as a BBC correspondent, covered the Bosnian War in the 1990s. Martin, good afternoon to you. As you also met him, give us an idea of the man himself.
He was bluff, a soldier. He was quite popular among his own rank and file in the sense that the Bosnian Serb politicians were not. He was fairly feisty. I remember him being engaged in an altercation with the Reuters correspondent Kurt Schork, which seemed about to come to blows. And one of the Serbs said, "Can't I restrain my friend?" I said, "I'll restrain my friend if you'll restrain yours." Because we had no time for journalists. He said, "I don't need the press because I shall be vindicated by history."
How important is it going to be now to get Mladic to The Hague to answer these charges, many of which you saw, I presume, firsthand? You saw a lot of what he's been accused of.
Yes, in fact, I was in The Hague only last December, giving evidence in the Karadzic case, actually meeting Karadzic in his cell. So it's, the charges are similar, the proceedings are going to be similar, but they are very long drawn out. The danger is that some of these suspects could die in captivity, and there is a case for narrowing the focus and reducing the number of charges and getting on with it, as much in the interests of the accused as anyone else who is, like everyone there, entitled to a fair trial.
Including the shelling of civilians during the siege of the Bosnian capital, Sarajevo, and the massacre of thousands in the enclave of Srebrenica. It was here in the summer of 1995 that the Bosnian Serbs, under General Mladic's command, rounded up and killed more than 7,000 men and boys. It was the worst slaughter in Europe since World War II. In front of UN peacekeepers, Mladic had promised the people of Srebrenica their sons and husbands would be safe. A promise he had no intention of keeping. Those who witnessed the Bosnian conflict have no doubt Mladic was the prime architect of the massacre.
It happened with Mladic on the ground. It had to be ordered by Mladic. All these mass executions, which took days and days and days, happened with a kind of military precision. So he's going to find it very difficult in The Hague to defend himself against that.
As the war ended, the hidden graves of Bosnia began to be unearthed. Families tried to identify victims by the clothes they were wearing when they were taken away. But Ratko Mladic had vanished. From 1995, he and the Bosnian Serb political leader Radovan Karadzic evaded capture. Then, unexpectedly, Karadzic was found living openly in Belgrade, disguised as a heavily bearded alternative therapy professor. He was seized and transported to face charges in The Hague. That left Ratko Mladic the last major Bosnian Serb fugitive. In 2009, previously unseen pictures of him surfaced on Bosnian television. He looked relaxed and healthy, apparently free to walk in the open air and enjoy a family gathering. But it wasn't clear how long ago the film had been taken and gave little clue to his whereabouts. Bridget Kendall, BBC News.